Really? Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Satsang. For those who are not aware, we use WhatsApp as a means of communication. The number appears there on the screen, and it makes our communication more direct, fluid, easier, and private. Let's make some silence first. Complete abstraction equals complete stillness, mountain-like stillness, unmovable stillness. A stillness that becomes bigger and bigger, vibrant. Whatever is there, trying to take your attention, trying to impress you, let go. Not just in this moment. Let go for good. And remain in that space, untouched by everything. So sometimes seekers find it strange in the intensity of the words that I use. But you see, when your spiritual quest is coming together with different other investments, when it's coming together with other daily endeavors, then it's like you have a road in front of you that never ends actually. It just renews itself. When you really start to take it seriously, when it is the only thing that matters, and you can bring your attention and focus into that perspective, it's like that endless road funnels in front of you. And in that moment, it is for this last journey, last part that I'm talking to. So this is when things really become intense. It is quite different when you're learning things, because it is a different mindset. You are learning a philosophy, studying things. This is an outgoing attention, and it is bringing new bricks for this world. It is changing and transforming it. That's fine, but this is not yet about freedom, because that last part is exactly the opposite of this mindset. It's about letting go and inner structures, all these structures dissolving. And for each dissolution, it is like going through death and the fear of death that arises previously. So it is quite intense. But here, it is where the opportunities lie. Before that, it is just a renovation of that world. That may expand it a little more, that may contract it a little more, but it is transformation, not liberation, not dissolution. And with this kind of movement, the mind functions very well. It goes through it very well because it is being fed. It is receiving its food. Doesn't matter if it is spiritual or worldly. It is receiving movement. It can look at the future and expect for the best things, and it can progress. It can bring knowledge. It still holds the notion of control. So it still functions perfectly. So the core structures of individuality, they are not touched. So no red lights, no actual danger. In a way, at this stage, you are doing what you want to do, what you like. And this means what resonates with your world, with your reality / delusion. And it is about following own ideas. Even the teachings that you are listening, or the masters that you are giving attention, it is those that are, in a way, in tune with what you think it is right, and give you what you call better perspectives of what you feel it is right, but you couldn't see. And this is good. everything is good, but it's not yet the thing. And it doesn't matter if it is the ultimate truth. Well, that's a little bit strong, the ultimate truth, but okay. Or in tune with it, it doesn't matter. What really fundamentally matters is it feeding your world or is it starving your world? So when really things start really getting serious, that means you're entering that last stage. Every day it is almost all or nothing. This is the kind of intensity that has to be present. And it is very important. And this is where many fall, if not almost everyone. Because to start that last part and to endure it, if you don't understand how it works, well, your chances reduce quite a little bit, or quite a lot. If you know how it works, you could never be prepared, but if you have an idea of how it works, of its mechanics, then your chances increase a lot. But still, you will have to go through those deaths, through the fears of death and all those things, because each dissolution is death-like experience, almost. Sometimes is even worse, and there's a lot of seekers that reach a point in their lives when they say, oh, it is better die than continue. So even the physical death, in a sense, the idea of it, it's better than going through that suffering. So there's one fundamental thing which is needed to complete that last part, and that is resolution. You see, the goal, freedom, has to be there. And as you enter this last part, this compromise has to be unbreakable. You cannot allow that anything can change this stance. So no matter what you go through, nothing can be able to change this, especially you. Because in the end, it is you that changes. And changing this stance, stopping, making a pause, this only complicates more because, well, you are going through an intense process of dissolution and you stop and you take a breath. The world of the character expands to that level. And it's like going back to the beginning, with the difference that now it has to become even more intense to have the same impact. And it takes longer for it. The more direct you can walk, the shorter the walk will be, because there is no time to adapt. As you give time to adapt, things become more difficult and more difficult, and it gets to a point that you just get frustrated with that. So into all of the way, you are the only obstacle to liberation. That's what you think you are, because that will hold on to anything. And you see, so if you intensify your practice to a real level of practice, and that is difficult for the majority, and then you interrupt it, then it becomes more complicated. And in a way, there's a lot of consequences in this, those that I've spoken previously. And also, you establish and you continue to feed this pattern of giving up, of going back. And as you open this door, the next time, it will be much easier to open this door. And the next, even much more easy to open this door. And the level of intensity that you were going through, in a way, your world catches up. So seekers tend to look at this and wait to give steps and all of that when they understand what they are doing. So first they understand, they prepare themselves, then they go. So this is like going without going, without moving, because they have gone through a process of adapting themselves. So when they actually give the step, that was a difficult one or whatever, it is a no step, because the individual world has adapted to that. And this is wasting time, wasting energy, wasting suffering. And there are a lot of seekers that spend their time more or less like this. They give 2, 3 steps forward, then it becomes too intense, then they go back again, they let go until it goes back, and it is like this. The intensity goes to a certain point, and then it starts fading away, fading away, fading away, fading away. And when it reaches a level that it is worrisome, then they go back again until that point where it becomes intense. And the more you keep up on this, the more that point of intensity expands. So you have to go even more intense just to get the same result. So in a way, you say, oh, but now it's better because I can understand it. I can, how do you say this? Handle it. I can withstand it. But is that really a good thing? Because the one that is withstanding that, it is the one who is not dissolving. He can take it. He is there. But it is less painful. And you see this as an advantage. But it's not really an advantage. And this is complicated because through normal routes to arrive to this point, you must be at a level that nothing else really matters. And it takes time to arrive to that level. But when you understand the mechanics of it, maybe, because nothing is guaranteed, You can start that last stance earlier and maintain it. Maintain it. Because as you are identifying with feelings, with ideas, with all of that, identifying with it, it is coming out of the path, of the narrow path towards dissolution. As you are disidentifying with thoughts, feelings, sensations, emotions, then you are coming closer to that narrow path. So commitment, unbreakable commitment, it is the basis. And it cannot be as normal commitments are, that I make it now, I make it very intense, and then, well, I just break it because, well, it cannot be like this. And you have to put it to yourself. It doesn't matter what will happen. I will continue. And you have to strengthen this in your mind. And when things go bad, and they will, if everything goes right, they will go bad. At least that will be the perception from the individual point of view. Then it doesn't matter if it is slower or not, but you will keep up. You will not do anything to relieve that pressure, to relieve that pain, that suffering. You will make it more intense. And those who are not ready for it, they usually say, well, that's too much, or something like, nah, that's not for me, or whatever. Or they say, yes, that is the thing. Now I'm going to take it all the way down. They are both not ready. When they are ready, they will say both things at the same time. Not the words, but the attitude. There's a part that knows it is painful and intense and almost incapable, and the other part that wants it real eagerly. And this both stances will bring the necessary maturity for what is going to come. And I hear this a lot. I had no idea it was going to be like this. And usually I give a really intense description, but it never comes close, because hearing it and living it, it's completely different. But the thing is, no matter how intense it is possible for you to overcome in the best way, with less instead of with more, less of you instead of more of you. But you have to hold your grounds and to continue to push it, no matter what is being experienced. So if intensity is not there, you're still in that big, endless road, in a transformational that appears to be something, but the core is not being touched. And as the core is not being touched, well, you can, from a worldly person with worldly values, you can become a spiritual person with spiritual values. But that doesn't mean anything. At least in the perspective of this last part. And it's not that this endless road will take you to that point. It won't. That it will prepare you for that. It won't. When one begins, the other one ends. It is a different road. They have nothing in common. Okay, so that's all for today. If there's any questions about this subject, you can send. If no questions come, well, you can send whenever you see this video, doesn't matter. And next satsang will be Wednesday, 9 o'clock in the morning, Brazilian time. So in a sense, whenever you're being exposed to intensity, well, that is giving you two choices: self-preservation or surrender. And what you choose at that moment makes the difference of what you're going to experience in the next moment. So that narrow path becomes more narrow or narrower, or more wider and wider. As you open some doors, you close other doors. So if you're deciding for surrender, the landscape will change and other doors will be open. If you're deciding for self-preservation, then those other doors that would be open will close, other doors will open. It is like this. So people tend to say, oh, but if this happened, it was supposed to happen. Well, if that makes you feel better. But things are not really that way. But that could be the subject of another satsang. Could be. Good. Okay. So until Wednesday, make it real for you.